So, my plan for this week is to finish I just was really in the mood for it, you know? I wanted to sit down and just, did you see that? Like I said, looking at my TBR, I finished everything that I needed for my TBR game like 2 months into 2 months. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with the very last week of my September readathons. So it is Saturday, so I'll be starting the last week of the readathons, which I'm excited and sad about. Excited because that means I've got a brand new TBR that I get to do for October, and I can get some more of the spookier things done because I've got some very exciting plans for October as far as like my reading and videos goes. But also sad because I'm definitely not going to get everything done. But I think I can get done what I really, really, really want to get done. So this week is the week where I have decided I am just going to embrace all of the fall. Because now that it is officially fall, I can, you know, be obnoxious about it. But also I've got some fall reads on my September TBR that I would like to get to before October starts. And also just, it's been a little chilly, you know, like it's really bright now, but it was really cold and crisp this morning, and it's been great, you know, it's been a little cooler around here the last couple of days. Last week it rained like almost every single day, it felt like, so you know, I'm really in the fall mood, and I want my reading to reflect that, and I think that it will. So, let's just get into some of the plans I've got for reading, because I also went full on fall this morning, and I went to a few stores, and I picked up some fallish things, and I wanted to share them with you. So I'll chapter this video, as I've been doing, if you're here for the book things only, because I'm going to be showing off some fall homeware type things, so you can skip that. But let's get to the books first. My plan for this week is to finish these 3 books. Coming into this week, I've technically started a book. I started A Blood and Promise, which is the first in the Fae Rising series by Miranda Lynn. I said this last week, but I'm buddy reading this with my friend Taylor. We're trying to do about 50 pages a day, so this should get done in about a week, but that could be the 1st of October. I don't actually know. This does fit in for a character prompt for Magical Readathon. It fits in for, I think, my person, if I'm correct. No, the island province that I want to live in. I picked the one that has the most Fae in it. So I had to read a book with Fae in it, and considering this series title is Fae Rising, felt like I'm pretty safe with that. So I was supposed to have started this last night, but I fell asleep. I read 2 pages and then I fell asleep. So I need to catch up on this today, read yesterday's portions and today's portions. And it is Saturday and in the fall, which means that it is football season, which is perfect because that means that my husband is very invested in watching football. And so I can just sit next to him and read. And so like we can still eat together, but I can get some reading done, and I'm very excited about that. So I need to jump into this one because I'm literally, my bookmark hasn't even moved, but I've read the next page at least. And I have no idea what I'm getting into, but I've heard that if you like ACOTAR and those types of vibes, then you'll like this one, and I'm very much an ACOTAR fan. You guys know that about me, and I'm just really excited to get into this. So once I get into it a little bit more, I'll be able to tell you more about what it's about, but it does have to do with different Fae courts. I'm not sure there's any humans as like major characters. I think all the characters are fae. But I'm really excited about it, so I need to catch up on that. But this is not one that I need to finish by the end of the month, which is okay, because like I said, it's a character prompt, and the character prompts I can get done as long as they're before April. So that one works all right. And then I also started this morning when I was getting ready and doing my makeup, I started the audiobook for Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This one is also a character prompt, I want to say. This one is for the background, whether or not you want to live in the city or live in like the country in the wilderness. I chose wilderness, so I had to have a book with like forests in it, so we picked this one. I'm not very far into it. I haven't even moved my, like, I don't even know where I am. I'm in chapter 1 somewhere, but I was enjoying what I was reading or listening to, so I would like to get more into this one in the next couple of days. I've got the audiobook from my library, so I should be able to finish this before it needs to get back. But it basically takes place in this village in next to the woods, and there's this wizard that lives in the woods called the Dragon, and he, every 10 years, he selects a girl that's a very specific age. She has to be 17, and she has to have been born in October, I want to say. Is that right? I don't know. October is important for some reason. And then he takes her. She goes to live with him for, I think, 10 years, and then is released. And the back just basically tells you that he takes her, but from like the first little bit that I've learned, it's not like a weird thing. It's like he is a protector. Everyone kind of looks up to him, but they're also scared of him because they don't want their daughters to be taken, because once they're taken, after 10 years, they come back changed, in a sense of like, the dragon gives them a huge dowry just in case they want to get married, but because they've lived with a man for 10 years, they're kind of like, I don't want to say tainted, but kind of like that, even though all the women claim that they've never been touched by him. So there's just this connotation to it, but then also they don't want to stay at home. So like they'll stay with their parents for like a week to a month, and then they'll go on, live off on their own, and become scholars and educated and like all of these great, powerful people. And so I'm very curious what's going to happen, because where we are at, there's this girl that is very pretty and very just like well-rounded as a person. She's very strong-willed and everything, and everyone knows the dragon's gonna take her, but the back says the dragon takes our main character instead. That hasn't happened where I am, but I just find this interesting because like I want to know, immediately I want to know what it is that happens in this castle that makes them change and want to be like different than they were when they like left to go to the dragon. So I'm very curious. I'm already, like I said, I'm barely even 20 pages into this book that is almost 500, and I'm already sucked in. So I'm very interested by this, so I can't wait to continue. But that's one of the fall reads I would like to get to, and then when I'm done with that audiobook, I'd like to pick up The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Daniel Page. This is a book, I don't remember what this one stands in for. This one I think is also a magical readathon. It is. This one is the Aurelium Academy, which is to read a book in a school setting. And this takes place on a college campus where a specific sorority is made up of only witches. However, I'm pretty sure no one on the campus knows that except for the people who are in the sorority. So it's kind of one of those like unspoken rules of they're very choosy about who's in their sorority, but if you're in, you know why you're in. And then I think some weird stuff happens on campus. But I like that school setting, but specifically a college setting. It just sounds really fascinating to me. And to me, witches are very fall-like things. And also, like, this cover is very dark and raveny, and I'm not sure what happens, but I'd like to find out. So that's my other fall read. So I mainly focused on these two this week and then my buddy read, but I'd like to squeeze in, if I can, the manga for Dreaming Sun. This is the 4th volume. This one was for Bookoplathon, which was for one of my buzzword prompts, which was time of day, and I couldn't find anything about the time of day, so I'm going with the sun, because sun's in like sunrise and sunset, and those are times of day. But they're really short, and it's also just like 1 volume manga that I really love and can plow through in an evening, so I'm figuring I can fit this in somewhere throughout the week. But yeah, I don't really know where it's going to go from here. Oh, I remember exactly how the last one ended. Okay, so I'm very interested to see where it's going to go, but basically this series, if you're not tired of me explaining it yet, this series follows a girl who leaves home. Her dad has remarried and they just had a kid, and she feels kind of unwanted and unloved. So she runs away and runs into this man in the park who actually, I think, no, he's not the guy on this cover. He basically says, I've got a really cheap place for you to stay if you want, but I need you to answer a few questions and do a couple of things. And so like she helps him find a key, she tells him why she's running away, and then he tells her that she needs to have a dream and fall in love, and she's like, great, I could do that. And so she goes to this house that he's got, and 2 other people live there that went to her school. And so it's her and these 2 guys, and they're just kind of like being a great family. So it's kind of like a found family trope. If that's something that you like, I think you'd probably enjoy this. But it's utterly ridiculous, and I love every second of it. So I can't wait to get into the next one. So if I can finish these 3 and almost finish this one, I will consider this a win. But for me, the most important reads this week are Uprooted and The Ravens. That's really my reading plans for the week. I'll keep you updated. I'm back in the office this week, and I actually get my own office now. I'm very excited about it. So I get to move into a new office on Monday, and I'm very excited. But I'll be in the office, so I will not probably be vlogging nearly as much. But those are my reading updates. But let me get into some of the things that I picked up, because I am very excited about them. So I wanted to go to, there's a TJ Maxx and a Home Goods near us, and there is a Michael's, but it's farther away than I wanted to go today. So based on what we did today, I was like, well, we'll see if I want to go. I've decided that I do want to go because I didn't get everything that I wanted, but my goal was to get a couple of fall decorations, and I was really looking for these tiny little pumpkins that I could use in like pictures, and I wanted to go to Home Goods to see if they had anything that I could like use as like a prop for photos on Instagram and stuff like that. And then we went to TJ Maxx, and I also wanted to see if I could find some long-sleeved fall things, because I went through my clothes from last year, and there's lots of things that I've had for many years and need to be retired because they're kind of falling apart, or I've had something for so long and I really like it, but I'm not wearing it, or it doesn't fit anymore, you know, things like that. So I wanted to replenish a little bit. So we went to the TJ Maxx first, and I grabbed a couple of mugs because of course I did. I love TJ Maxx mugs. I think they're so freaking cute, and I wanted something that was more fall, because the only ones that I feel like are fall are, I've got 2. I've got one that says warm and cozy on it, and that's just like, it's not particularly a fall mug, but it's warm and cozy. And then I've got this one that's brown and orange and kind of looks like a pumpkin, like in the design itself, but it's just a very like fall colors mug. So I wanted to get a couple things that were like fall but weren't like pumpkin spice things. And so the first one I grabbed was this really cute one that says "Give Thanks" on it. Look at this cute little way it's packaged. It's on both sides of it. I just like the way it looks. It's very clean. I also really like this shape. It's a very different shape than I think I have. So I picked that one up because it's super cute. And then I was like, great, I'm done. I don't need any more. And then I saw this one, and I couldn't walk out without it. But it's this one. It's a clear mug with hand-painted sunflowers and pumpkins and a squash on it. And I don't have anything that's like a clear mug. And I don't know, something about this grabbed my attention. It looked really cute, and I liked the shape of it. I thought it would be a really nice mug for tea when it, you know, comes to more tea at night and things like that. So I picked up that one as well. And then I picked up a couple of shirts. I'm not sure if you guys care about shirts, but I'm gonna show them to you because I think they're cute. The first one, oh no, everything just fell on the ground. The first one I picked up is this one, which is like a navy and white striped shirt. It's super soft and comfy and cozy, and it's not too thick, but it's also not too thin. So it's a very nice, like, everyday sweater, and I really like how it looks on. I picked up that one because it's nothing like anything I've got. And then I did pick up this one, which is a purple sweater, which is got a fit very similar to one that I have that's starting to go, but I don't have anything like it in this color. I've got some purple, I've got a very thick purple sweater, and then I've got this like maroon thing, but I don't have anything quite like this. So I picked that one up as well. So that's what I picked up from TJ Maxx, and then we went to Home Goods, and I thought they were going to have a lot more stuff, and then they didn't. But I did leave with this little container that I've now thrown at myself. It's got a little lid here. Isn't it cute? I was looking for something to hold my wax melts, because I don't know if you can see. See if I can position you so you can kind of see. That's where they're at. Like, the whole top of my bookshelves looks like a hot mess, so let's ignore those. But I have wax melts here, and they just kind of culminate there, and I wanted a place to put them all, and then I saw this, and I really liked the way this looked. I liked the color. I liked that it had a lid as well, and so I could put things like if there's candles that for me are very seasoned candles, like candles I don't want to burn until Christmas, or if there's candles that are very summer for me, I can put them in here and hold out on them until summer. And so I figured this would be a nice place to hold candles and just put it at the top of my shelves, clean everything off, and then put it up there for storage. So I picked that up, and I really like it. I think it looks super cute. So I did that. I was not successful as far as the decorations goes, but then we went to the Target, and I was a lot more successful, and I found exactly what I wanted. So my husband also got some clothes and stuff, but they're in the other room, so I'm too lazy to pick them up. So I'll start, I guess, with the most boring, and that is I got some socks. Because I like these kind of socks that just go around like the front of your foot. What are they even called? Like flats? They're socks for flats and stuff. Because I got these pairs of shoes that work best with these, and the ones that I've got are really old and have holes in them. So I got some more of those, and I just also got some fun socks because I have a lot of socks, but I'm noticing that I've had them for a long time and they're starting to go and have holes in them. And so I just got these. They're just fun gray ones. They've got stripes on them. We've got just some white ones in the middle, just a few to help replenish the ones that are starting to go. And then I found these socks that have coffee on them, and I couldn't say no. But then the thing that I'm the most excited about is I found little pumpkins. Aren't they cute? These are in the like dollar bin section that's like right at the front of the Target. So they're plastic. They're very much not great quality, but I wanted them to just put around the house and also in photos. So I got a pack, I think there's 6 in here, of just regular colored pumpkins, and then I got some white ones that I could like put them together. So I'll put them around the house, and I'll use some of them in my Instagram photos. I'm getting really into Instagram, if you can't tell, so if you have not followed me, you do that. It's fun. And then I got a couple of candles. Now you might be asking, Kelsey, I can see all of your shelves behind you. Why did you get more candles? Well, I got these because of the containers they're in, and not necessarily to burn them. So I got these 2 little candles because, like I said, it kind of looks like little potion bottles, and I thought those would be cute in photos as well. So this one is just blue. It's got a little cork on it. I might burn it, I might not, but I got them for the jars. And I don't, like, there's not really a scent on it, so it just smells clean. I don't even know what that one smells like. But this one does. This one says Harvest Pear and Fig on it, but I'm going to be taking the sticker off of that because, like I said, I liked the jar. And yeah, it's very sweet. It does kind of smell like pear, so if you like pear things, get you one from Target. They also had one like this, but that was green, but I figured 2 were fine. So I got those as well for pictures. So that's my little haul. I'm very excited about it, and like this is what I wanted. I wanted baby pumpkins. That is really my one goal that I went out, was to get baby pumpkins and to get fake flowers so that I could put them in our kitchen, because we've got some flowers that my mom made for us for the wedding that we've just been kind of using as our centerpiece, and I'd like to switch them out with something more fall colored because they are, you know, like purple, white and purple, because those were kind of the colors of our wedding, so they're very kind of like spring summer colors and not necessarily fall colors. But I did not do that, so I will do that maybe in a couple of weekends. I think we're gonna go up to where the Michaels is, because that's where the used bookstore near us is, and I think we're going to do that in a couple of weeks. So I'll go up at some point, but just not soon. which is fine. But I got what I wanted mostly, so I'm very excited about that. But I hope you enjoyed this very random home haul. I cannot wait to use these mugs. I think they're going to be so cute. But I'm going to go do something. I haven't decided if I want to film a video or not because I'm having a really fantastic hair day. I don't know what's happening. So I wanted to take advantage of it. So I might do a video. And then I'm going to go sit out there and read. And I'll talk to you when I talk to you. I have no idea what that's going to be. I have all of the book updates for you. I have so many, and it's Monday. I just was productive in the last couple of days. But look first off, I have something to show you. Because I got this, I ordered this, and it finally came in the mail. Look how cute this sweater is. It says, "Hello Fall," and it's got a leaf on it, and it's this burnt orangey, and it's super soft. And it's really nice and soft on the inside. It's super cute. I'll leave the Etsy shop down below. It's called Wildly Free Tea Shop. I really wanted a sweatshirt that said fall something on it and was this color. I was just really craving it. Now it's really hot today, so I can't wear it. But in like a few weeks, when it gets real cold again, or cooler at least for where I am, I'll be able to wear it. I'm just so excited about it. This is exactly what I wanted. And it makes me a very happy human, but that's just unrelated and wanted to show off my new sweater. Let me tell you about the things that I have read, because like I said, I have all of the updates. So, as you would have seen last night, I decided to pick up the 4th volume of A Dreaming Sun. I was really just in the mood for it. I wanted to sit down and just plow through it. So I did, and it was really good. I ended up giving it 4 stars, I think 4 to 4.5 stars, but we might bump that up to 5. I haven't fully decided yet what this is gonna get, but it was so good. We learned some things, and this one about some of our characters, and I am shooketh to say the least. Primarily our landlord character. He's been very mysterious this entire time, and so we learned about his history and kind of why he has these rules set up for his house. But I freaking loved this. It was so cute. I really don't know what to say about it since it's the 4th volume in a series, so I really enjoyed it. I want to pick up the rest immediately, and I've only got the next 2, so I need to start getting the rest of them. But I really enjoyed this. It was super cute. I will say I had moments where I was confused, so I had to read a few sections a couple of times, and I probably should have read the end of the 3rd one again just to remind myself what happened, because it kind of just starts in the middle of action and I had completely forgotten what was going on. But I still really loved this. It was so cute. I'm just gonna love this series forever. So I decided to pick that one up, and then today, well, actually you would have seen that I had started Other Words for Home, but I ended up picking it up today at work. I found the audiobook of it, and I plowed through this, and I finished it. This one filled prompts for both Magical Readathon and Bookoplathon. It filled the prompt of based on current events for Bookoplathon, and then for Magical Readathon, it was for The Mist of Solitude, which is to read a standalone. So this is a middle grade book that is written in verse, and it's honestly stunning. So this follows our main character named Judah, and she is from Syria, and the book starts with her in Syria, and then she and her mom, because of some of like government unsettling things that are happening at home, they go to America where her mom's brother is, and so his family is there, so they come to visit him, and she starts to go to school in America. And so it's her kind of during this time of crazy unsettling things that are happening at home because her brother and her father are still there, and it's just her and her mom in America. And so there's this conversation of like not only different culture clashes, but also like being Middle Eastern in America. It's just rough, you know? But it was really interesting to see from a kid's eyes and see just kind of like the pride she has in her culture as well, and it's not like something that will be forgotten, because sometimes when you get in situations you see like characters, especially younger characters, kind of wanting to forget their culture, and so she's like, no, we're not doing that. And also just this conversation of like her and her mom coming to America and seeing this brother who is just kind of like completely adapted to American life and doesn't have a lot of like customs and things that was from his home, and so like the mom's not super happy about that. And it's just like this very culture conflict, but you've also got her in a new school. She looks different. When she starts the school, she doesn't have a hijab, and then while she's at school she starts wearing the hijab, and so it's like this kind of moment of difference that like she's really different. She was different at first and now she's really different. It's just seeing her grow up. And also there's this like play aspect of it where she takes part in a play at school. I just really liked it. I liked the conversations that were in here. I liked that this is definitely a younger middle grade, so it tends to lean very simplistic in its writing, and so that's the audience that it's going for, and I think that's really important because not only is it a super easy book to get through, it's aimed at a age range that I think would really need this, especially for young girls who don't actually see themselves in books a lot. That was one of the things that the author talked about in the back, was that she wanted to write a book where there were young girls like her that could see themselves in a character. And I just thought that was really important and something that's really important for younger readers. So I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4.5 stars. So I did that, but I also made some progress and uprooted. I made it about 43% of the way through chapter 7-ish, I want to say, which feels wrong, but I think it's more Did I make that? Was it chapter 14? It's chapter 14. I don't know where 7 came from. So about 186-ish pages, not quite halfway. And I've decided to DNF this book. I honestly just wasn't enjoying my time. I'm not a huge fan of the writing. I was realizing as I was going through this that she likes to tell you things rather than show you things, but it was a lot of situations where like there was dialogue happening, and then in the middle of the dialogue would stop and the prose would start, and the prose would say things that the dialogue was just talking about, or it would continue the conversation that could have been in dialogue form and would have taken less time to explain, but instead she wanted to tell us these things, and it was just very disconcerting as far as how it was written. I also don't think I was in love with the narrator, so like that could be an aspect of it, but it also takes place around this cursed wood, and I've learned that that is not a plot thing that I like, because I've read a lot of books where like the wood has been cursed, and so they have to go into this very dark, woody atmosphere to fix it, and our character has something that they can do to like fix it, and I wanted to give it a decent chance, but I found myself not caring. I would space out for multiple minutes to hours while listening, and I just like didn't care. So I decided to just not push myself through, and then definitely hate it by the end, because it was starting to look like a 2-star, and I wasn't feeling it, you know? I don't care. You know, I don't care about any of the characters. This wizard dragon guy is honestly just awful to our main character, calling her like an idiot the entire time. And like, I get that he doesn't like her at first, but then like, I think it's supposed to be a romance between the two of them, and I just do not see it. And I know I haven't made it that far, but I also almost made it halfway, and I still am having these questions. So yeah, we're gonna put this one down, and I feel better about it. So I got way more done than I thought I was going to. I didn't even think I was going to get to this one this week, but I decided to give it a chance, and I'm really happy I did. And I did actually technically start The Ravens. I'm only in like chapter 2, but from what I can tell, I did actually finally read the synopsis to figure out what's going on. This book, like I said, takes place on a college campus, and the sorority is the Kappa Rho Nu, I think. But they're called the Ravens, and it's a sorority made up of witches. So like if you're in it, you know that you were part of a coven, but if you're not, then you just think it's another sorority. And it follows 2 girls, one girl named Viv and Vivi, and I'm not sure if she knows she's a witch or not, but she goes to this school, and I think she pledges for that sorority. And then it also follows a girl named Scarlet, who wants to be like the head honcho of the sorority's president. She wants to be the sorority's president. And I think they get matched up as big and little. Now where I am, like I said, I'm 1 chapter in. We've seen Viv's point of view, and we're just about to get Scarlett's point of view, and I think it switches back and forth between them. But the prologue was like super interesting, so I'm very interested in this. I'm very curious about that like contemporary vibe to it, with it also being set around like a coven of witches. I'm just so curious. So I'm gonna dive more into this one tomorrow and the rest of the week. I think this will be my main audiobook, but I'm very interested in it. So that's exciting. Again, like I said, I haven't made it too far, so I don't have like a whole lot of opinions. I'm on page 8, so we'll see what happens. But I did want to tell you that I have technically started this, but we'll get more into it later on. And then I have been reading Blood and Promise, which is the first in the Fae Rising series. I know I mentioned that I'm buddy reading with my friend Taylor. We are both on chapter 10, which is about 90 pages into the book. We are very much not sticking to our schedule of 50 books a day, because if we were, we would be at like 150 pages now. But the funniest thing is that we are both not sticking at the same rate. But I am 1000% hooked with this book. Oh my gosh. And I now understand what it's about, so I can actually explain to you what's going on in this book. So this book takes place on the land of the Fae, and humans exist, but they're not really part of the series. They're totally, at least so far, they're in a totally separate land, and they're thought of like so far down the totem pole, it's ridiculous. But there are 4 courts in this land. There's this stunning map at the beginning as well. But there's 4 courts, which is the Wind Court, the Marsh Court, the Flame Court, and the Sea Court. And they each have like a king or queen. And also within them, there are like kind of this social class where you've got high fae and lesser fae. And high fae are thought of as like really good, like the best of the best, and lesser fae are fae that are mixed with something else. So usually they're fae with some other creature and there's something on them that shows it. Like, for example, one of our main characters is lesser fae and he has horns. So it's just like little things like that. But it follows our 2 main characters, Ara and Tamir? I think it's how you say it. I'm just gonna call him Tim. But it switches back and forth between their perspectives, and Ara is a high fae in the Marsh Court, and her dad is like the head of what's called this hunt, and I interpret that as like the secret army of the king. So he's taught her entire life how to basically like fight and get the upper hand, to spy, kind of sit in the back and kind of watch what's going on. And so the king always invites them to parties, and so she's required to go because she's technically still single, even though she doesn't want to get married, but she is technically eligible, so she has to go to these things, otherwise it would be looked upon as like snubbing the king, and that is not a good thing. So she goes to these parties and just kind of stands in the background. And then you've got Tamir, who, like I said, is a lesser fae. However, he's treated as a high fae because he has this healing magic where he can bring anyone completely back to health, no matter how close they are to death. He can bring them back. And so everyone kind of knows that he's a healer, but doesn't quite understand to the extent, because the high fae royalty in this world have the ability to like command you to forget things, or like they can command you to do anything. And so his king commands people to forget that he has healed them, basically. I'm not entirely sure why, but I think he just wants to keep Tamir's magic to himself. And Tamir is finding out some stuff that's going on within like the courts. There's some political things that are happening. So if you like a political fantasy, I think you would enjoy this. That's kind of where I am. Something kind of not great happened to Ara, which sets her off on this kind of journey of sorts. It's really about finding out who she is, because her background is, we find out, not quite known, and then I'm not sure how our 2 characters meet, but I feel like they have to meet somehow because they're our main characters. But I'm enjoying it so far. Ara's really reminding me of Feyre from the ACOTAR series. She's very, at least like the second half of the ACOTAR series, she's very like strong-willed, and it's really fascinating watching these scenes from her perspective, because she's analyzing everything and analyzing everybody and every situation she's in. She'll kind of tell you how, you know, she could get the upper hand, but no one will think that because she's, you know, a female. And so of course they wouldn't think that she'd be able to like fight her way through. So it's just really interesting to see. I have absolutely no idea where the story is going, but I am beyond hooked. You know, I've already had all of the emotions, so I'm very interested to see. I just, honestly, I had to like force myself to put this book down last night because I just wanted to keep reading. So these are the 2 that I'm working on currently, and the last 2 that I'd love to read for the week. If I read more, oh my gosh, great. But these are my 2 priorities for the rest of the week. So we'll see. I'll be able to finish this one by the end of the month. I'm not sure about this one just because it's a physical read. And I do have an ebook of it, so I can read it on like lunch breaks and stuff. But I'm also trying to, you know, read it with Taylor, so we're trying to buddy read this together. I don't want to get too far ahead. Not that there's really any chance of that at this point. And also it's not necessary to be done at the end of the month. This is one of my character prompts. This is not for Magical Readathon, so I can continue to read this in October if I need to. So yeah, that's kind of my very large update. I've done many a thing since I talked to you last, so I'm gonna keep going, and I'll let you know what I think when I get farther into the Ravens. Because like I said, I'm not that far in to really have an opinion, but the prologue intrigues me. it is the 1st of October, which means I am here to not only wrap up this week, but to wrap up the month. I was actually looking at the like spreadsheet thingy that I have because I like to plan a lot. And I did much better than I thought I was going to do. And also, like, I rearranged a couple of things so that I actually technically have completed everything for the Magical Readathon, minus a couple of the character prompts. So I'm gonna count that as a win. But let me go through kind of what I've read since I talked to you last, because I have finished 2 books. I ended up finishing The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Daniel Page. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I loved this book. So like, I have never read, I don't think I've ever read a dark academia book, but to me this gives off the vibes that I have heard other people say about dark academia, but like very, very light dark academia. And the fact that it's set at a college, it revolves around this coven of witches, so it's very contemporarily set. It's set on a college campus, and it's got that like witchy vibe of like they're casting spells and they're learning about magic and things like that. So it's got that aspect of dark academia. So if you like the atmospheric and vibes of dark academia, but you're not a huge fan of like the actual dark parts of it, I think this was a good book for that. But I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's been a few days and I'm still not 100% sure what it was that has grabbed my attention and made me love this book so much, but I think it's the writing. I think it's the fact that within pages, like within like 3 or 4 chapters, and like these chapters are short, there's like 50 chapters in this book, and it's like not even 400 pages. I don't think, yeah, it's not 400 pages. I was completely and utterly hooked. The writing of these characters and the writing of like what's going on with them is so compelling. I just wanted to continue reading. So I have no idea what I told you when the last time I talked to you, but basically this follows 2 girls. We have a girl named Scarlett and a girl named Vivi, and Vivi is a freshman at this college. There's this sorority that's super, super selective of the people that are accepted into it, and they're called the Ravens, and they are basically a coven of witches on this campus. And so if you are in this sorority, then you are a witch, but like no one who's not in the sorority doesn't know that. They just think that they're super selective. And so Vivi goes to kind of like their opening banquet party thing where like they go to actually think about being selected to pledge for them. And so it follows her, and she has no idea that she has any sort of magic in her. And then you've also got Scarlett, who is a junior in this college, and she is the pledge master this year, and she's part of the Ravens. And so it's the 2 of them, and so it's different aspects of this. But there's also this very mysterious element with Scarlett, and something that happened with a past sister who's no longer in the sorority anymore. And it's like the mystery with that, and like you don't even know what it is. And then there's also like this, just it's perfect. It's perfect witchy vibes, and I liked the setting of it being set at a college campus. I thought it was fascinating. So I think technically this is a YA book if you look on Goodreads, but I would say it's more new adult, not because of like any of the material that's being talked about. I think it's a new adult because of the ages of the girls in this book. It's all set in college, so they at youngest are 18, and it's between 18 and like 21, 22, that kind of age range. So you've got older girls, and so there's definitely older things and some more kind of like adult topics are being talked about, but it's not like anything that you wouldn't see in a YA book, which is why I think it kind of borders the line between YA and new adult. I think people who like YA will enjoy this. I think people who like new adult will enjoy this because it kind of like I said, walks that line between the 2. But I loved it, and I figured out that there is a sequel to this. It's actually a duology. And I was so excited about it, and then I realized it came out in January, and so I can't actually get my hands on it until January, and I'm a little bitter about that. But I devoured this book. I fell in love with these characters. I think they're fleshed out so incredibly well. I think the plot was really fun. I liked everything about this book. I just wanted to keep reading. I didn't want to do anything else but read this book. So I devoured it. This was a great book. I'm a happy human. So I finished that book, and I realized I had about like a day and a half-ish left in the month, and I was like, all right, do I want to see if I can try to squeeze something else in, or do I want to just kind of like read something that I want to read? And so I looked at my TBR, and I realized there was a book on there that I had the audiobook at Audible with, and it was really short, and I think I could have fit it, and it also it fit for both Bookoplathon as well as Magical Readathon, and that is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. So I ended up picking this one up, and I finished this on the last day of the month, and it was great. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars. This, to me, is a very bridge book where it's super short. It's less than 300 pages. Like, I'm not even sure how many pages are in this, to be honest. 233, so like super short book. And there are definitely some things that are talked about that I think this is important. I've obviously not read A Court of Silver Flames yet, but to me, this is a good bridge book from the first part of the series, the trilogy, and what we're going to get into with the Silver Flames, because I know that one follows Nesta primarily. I'm not sure if it's in her perspective, but I know it follows her. And so there's just some stuff in this that I think is a good bridge between kind of what has happened in the past and what's going to happen in the future. So I am interested to see where we're going to go. There's definitely some things that were talked about with some of our characters that I think is important to know before you go into the rest of the series, and I thought it was very good. I gave it 4 stars because the writing was iffy for me. This switches perspectives all over the place. You get chapters in here from Feyre, Rhysand, Cassian. I don't think there's one from Az, but there's one from Mor. I'm pretty sure there's one from Amren. There's definitely one from Nesta. So, like, I'm not sure there's one from Elaine either, but, like, almost everybody in this little, like, clique you get a perspective in here. Primarily, it is Feyre and Rhys, but you do get everybody else as well. I think it was interesting and kind of all over the place, primarily because, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that took place at the beginning of this book that felt like it was the start of a new book. Like, you're reminding the characters the readers, what has just happened with all these characters. And I feel like if you're reading this really tiny book, you know what happened at the end of the last book. Now, you do need some of that to kind of, like, bridge and kind of remember, but this just was written in a way that was kind of like, I'm going to spoon feed you this information, and I'm going to act like you're an idiot and you're totally have no idea what's going on. And I was like, I know all of the things that you're saying. So that kind of bothered me, but also because it switches point of views so much, it was very confusing. And also the kind of like how it was written was different, because Feyre and Rhys's perspectives were both in first person and everybody else's was in third person. So, like, you could be sitting there and you could be going back and forth from Rhys and Feyre, and then all of a sudden you get a Cassian chapter and it's in third person all of a sudden, and it's very like, it feels very disconnected from what's going on. So, like, the plot is important, I feel like, for where to go from here, but the writing, I think, suffered a little bit. So I'm curious to see where the next one's gonna go, and I just immediately now want to pick it up. So I enjoyed it, but I did have a couple of issues. So with that being said, this week I technically read 4 and DNF'd one, because I started the week with volume 4 of Dreaming Sun, which I think I gave 4 stars. Is that right? Let me check. I did. I gave it 4 stars. And then I did start and get about halfway through Uprooted, and then ended up DNFing it. I don't rate my DNFs, but, like, it would have been a 2 if not 1 star by the end of it, so I decided just to stop that. So I put that one down, and then I did Other Words for Home by Jasmine Warga, which got 4 stars, and then we had The Ravens, which got 5, and Akafas, maybe? I don't know how to say this one. Frost and Starlight got 4 stars. So looking at kind of my stats and stats, not stats, but like looking at kind of what I have here, I was able to finish everything for my TBR game. I think I finished that 2.5 weeks into the month, so that was good. And I finished all but one thing for Bookoplathon, which is Unmarriageable, which I thought about seeing if I could rearrange, but the prompt was randomized TBR, so it just didn't work out, and that's fine. It's just one of the things I didn't get to. And then, as far as Magical Readathon goes, I filled everything for the regular prompts except for one, which was Ashton Tree, which is a book that keeps tempting you, and I don't remember what I put in for this one. Oh, it was the Katie Roberts book, Desperate Measures, I think, maybe? And I decided to switch that out with volume 4 of Dreaming Sun, because I am obsessed with that, and I keep tempting myself to read more and more. It's a very tempting to just binge that entire series, even though I don't have it. So I went ahead and put that one in, and then I was looking and I realized that one of my character prompts was what Uprooted was in for, and I think I need to actually complete a book for each one, not just like, you know, try it out. But I realized that a book that I read earlier in the month, 13 Treasures, which was by Michelle Harrison, I think it was only for my TBR. It has a very outdoorsy setting, so I realized that for my background, which I am a wilding, it needs to be a book that's primarily set in the forest or just outside, and so that one works. So I went ahead and just switched that one out. So I read that one, and then I don't have it right next to me. Hold up. And then I was reading Blood and Promise throughout the week, but I have completely and utterly failed at this buddy read. So I'm sure Taylor is much farther on than I am. But I'm on page 88, so I am really early into this book. But I'm going to continue to read this, obviously, with her. I think it's just a matter of both of us are really slow physical readers, and there's no audiobook for this. So we're gonna finish this book, dang it, but it's just gonna take us a while to get to it. So this will still fit for my other character prompt, but again, I don't need to do character prompts in the month of September. As long as they are done before, I think, the next readathon, we're good. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading this. So when you see this come up in a future wrap-up, just know I've done that. And the last one is Heritage, and I was going for Elf, and that is Moon or Stars in the cover or title, and I think there will be something that'll come up in the next few months that'll definitely fit this. I'm not sure what it is at this point, but I'll be able to fit this in before whenever the next readathon happens. So I am gonna freaking call this month a huge win, considering the ridiculous amounts of books I had on my TBR, and like there's a couple I didn't get to, but I was able to kind of rearrange some things to make it work. And I am astonished I was even able to do that. This last week has been actually really good. Like, I was able to get almost 5 books complete, start some more that I've had on my TBR forever, get some of my fall reads in. Like, it was a good week. But that's all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to kind of talk you through what I'd read and just a little bit of a wrap up for this entire readathon. But I hope you had fun watching my 4 weekly reading vlogs. I have no idea what this one will look like because, again, I have not edited it. So we're just gonna plow through editing today so you can see it tomorrow. It's gonna be an afternoon. But I hope that you guys enjoyed. I really do like making vlogs, but I always prefer to have like a theme or a reason behind it. I don't want to just like make weekly vlogs because to me I love watching them, but I feel like my life is super boring for that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this month-long readathon. I'm definitely going to be doing this again in the future. I know Believeathon is in November, so you will have month-long vlogs then. But don't worry, I definitely have vlogs planned for next month as well. So if you're a vlog person, I got you. But I hope that you enjoyed the craziness that is my life in September. But let me know down below if you also participated in Bookoplathon or Magical Readathon. How did you do? Or just how was your September reading going? I would love to know if anyone else was able to complete all of the craziness that they had planned for the month. If you had like both readathons, let me know how you did. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all of those out. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!